So it's been recording this whole time, so I can just use the whole beginning as like a blooper clip.
Yeah, like I said,
It has been,
I want a blooper
this
clip
entire
all the
time.
Where's
Bro, you're barely in the shot. I know. Where's
How do you know I'm barely in the shot? Oh, I'm
on there.
I was like, we can't even see
Oh,
the
come on. Don't do this.
Smile so we can see you. It's all black screen.
It's
Oh,
like, what you mean?
So I was like, I know I didn't get that dark.
put it down to
Just put it
two.
down to, like,
Yeah,
44.
two. Yeah, exactly. I don't want it to like stop in the middle of. I'll know because right here it's gonna be like it's gonna say, this is what was happening to me the other
Is
week.
that the resolution it plays back for us?
Of course not.
When,
We're
Oh wait, yes. If
We're-
you go to it on there,
Cool.
you can grab the link now.
It better not
You can
say,
get the link
it better
now.
not say
You just gave it to me already.
Click
That
it.
was
Watch
the wrong
it.
one?
Click it and see what happens. No. It's not the wrong one. It's just that.
It better not say 144p.
No. It's not. I promise you. I promise you.
This right here.
That's not it. Delete that. Delete that, bro. Now, see, no. See the actual, no, but I need the actual link too. See, the actual link is actually, watch this. This is the actual
I need
link.
to fix my posture. It looks like I got the posture of a shrimp. Posture of a shrimp right
Watch, you
now.
go to videos right here. Go to the actual thing right here. Go like this.
Hey.
You go to share,
Hollywood Hino liked my ish.
copy.
That's what I'm talking about.
Now I'm gonna go like these. I'm gonna send that to myself in an email. Like these. That's the only way I can do it. And then I need to move the phone again.
Oh, you're live with Mental Health Monday. That's great.
There it goes. There's the actual thing.
Can you send me the link so I can post
I
it?
have the actual link now. There we go. All right. I'll grab it off my phone and send it to you. Let me see.
Because nobody was watching the live. Anyways.
We'll just be
People just want to see
recorded.
your nose hairs.
Copy link. Sending it to you right. All right, there.
Right, this is in this.
Thirst traps. That's what we should have put on that.
What?
Thirst traps.
Mm-hmm.
Stop.
Let's add it there.
Just saying.
No.
Do or do not. What is the
Because some
point?
of the things
What
that
is
are-
the point
some
of
of
it?
the things that are on your list are thoughts that you came up with
Those
throughout
are-
the week.
Yeah, throughout the week. Or things that are
I
just
don't know.
rolled over.
I don't know what
They're
mindset
rolled
you
over.
were in when you were thinking those thoughts. Because
I'm still talking about it anyway.
you could
Doesn't
write
matter.
down one phrase and you already know how to interpret that, but
I'm gonna call you from the friend. Did you cover your mouth this time?
Yes, it is.
Good. Appreciate that. Lady. Ah.
You got it? You got the actual
Well,
thing now?
here, but you can't click on it.
What you mean?
I have to put it in my bio.
You mean, yeah, you have to put it on their website and then you can just click on it. Like these. Bruh.
Well, because I have my other link for
Mm-hmm.
my sponsored. I just gotta remember to.
you do what is it? Insta bio. Like
Did you
Insta-
cover your mouth that time?
Yes, it is.
the
I didn't
Insta,
Right.
Insta link?
Whoops. Yeah, there.
Where you can have
It's
multiple.
I
good.
don't know what to do, but that. Oh, okay. So he's telling me what to do because I had to take out the sponsor
Oh, there's an
and
app
add
for it.
this.
There's
So
an app.
now,
There's an app. All right, cheers. See you at the top of this out. Mental Monday, episode 7. Look who it is.
who is it?
Montez, hey, what's good, bro? Hey, I got my contract extended.
His contract has been extended.
Contract.
My boy Monte.
I got signed for a 10-day.
And then, say episode 8 is your last day.
Walk on.
Yeah, walking around.
So walk on. He's trying out. He's just
Trying
extended.
out again because they liked what they saw in the last couple ones, so they invited me back.
Yeah. Well, I thank my people here. It's my little bro, and introduce yourself again. You know, just
Legendary.
Mina Flex for sure. It's me live.
sure about that. Yeah, just checking.
He needs some mental health today, so
Oh,
I'm glad
wow.
we're doing this.
I need some mental health.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, we ain't gonna go there.
Trying to check
Bro,
me on my
let me get
butt.
on you, bro. I'm gonna get on you.
I just told you I PR'd yesterday,
He said
255 on that front squat.
podcast.
That's what I'm saying.
Sir,
Anyway, so, you know.
if you didn't already, please leave a like.
Hey, that's what I'm talking about. You see, now this is legit. You're trying to do it on accounting and stuff, and they're like, no, we need to be professional. That's what I'm talking about right there.
So,
It's just set up for
yeah, it's
this
just,
area. That's what I was saying. Like the couch use, like that area, you're gonna run into a couple more issues.
Yeah.
I gotta stage everything right here. It's just-
Yeah, because you got to posture yourself. You got to do all kinds of
I,
stuff.
I need to
I
fix
mean,
my
we would've
posture
been-
anyways, but
we would've-
I'm telling you, I got the posture of a shrimp, man.
Sure.
Alright, that's good.
So, a lot of the times on a lot of these episodes when when we don't get through stuff, it's because we had just a full thing of what?
But no,
What do you say that?
no, it's on Instagram Live.
Oh yeah, what up? Boy, Mr. And One, bro. What you doing on the Instagram version, bro? This is the ghetto version. You need to be on the.
Get over version? No, it's not. Oh, you're going to mess up
There.
my snacks.
What you doing on the? You're on the ghetto version, bro. This is the ghetto version. Go ahead and get on the YouTube version. Link in the bio. You know what it is. So a lot of times when we don't get through certain things or the topics end up going elsewhere, I like to roll over things that we don't get to into the next week. I know last week we went for like 4.5 hours, but we're trying to stay disciplined on this one. Try to keep it within 3 hours, but you know, if the conversation's too good, you can't just cut it there. First thing that I've actually been pushing off for a while, I think I wrote this down back in episode 5, I think. It has to do with solitude. Solitude. Basically, the mindset that I was at when I wrote that down was pretty much, it was at a point, I was thinking back to a point where, you're kind of pushing people away. There's a bunch of different reasons for it. Mine was pretty much that I thought at the time that, not that the people around me weren't good enough, but it was to the point where I didn't want what I was going through to be put on other people.
Projected at others.
Yeah, projected at others, kind of like a burden sort of thing. I felt that dealing with things by myself, trying to get better by myself, rather than telling other people or rather than putting that on someone else, was the better thing to do. And a lot of the times, that can really put you in an even worse spot than you started, because I was fighting the idea that I needed other people or that I needed help. It's a pride thing. It's an ego thing.
I was fighting demons and they were swinging back.
You don't really want to admit it. Nobody really wants to admit that they need help. Nobody wants to admit that, hey, I'm going through something and you help me out. Or people don't want to do that a lot of the times. People don't want to admit that. And it was kind of like a situation like that. And in turn, it actually just ended up making things worse a lot of the times, rather than going out, with friends and getting that social time and putting yourself in solitude was sort of it. I understand there's a point where sometimes it could either hurt you or it could help you. And I really think that people need a mix of both when you are going through something. It's okay to sometimes, it's okay to, hey, go take some alone time, take some self-care time, take that time by yourself if you're not in a state of mind to be around other people.
You got a social meter too. Like I'll catch myself, like if I feel like I've been out in public too long, around other people too long, I just start getting anxious.
That's exactly,
I need to
yep.
go
I'm
home.
like,
or that's why I like taking my keys or, taking my own car when I go places, because I get to be on my own time a lot of the time, like most of the time. And like you can just kind of feel when your social media runs out. It's like you'd be like, I need to go home.
yeah, I feel like that a lot. It's like, like a lot of the times I dealt with this, like in my last relationship, a lot of the times, like I would be out and I get this feeling of like, bro, like what am I doing? Like I had other things to do, other things that were going on. And it was to a point where like, I didn't care about none of that. Cause I knew like in the back of my head that there's other things going on. And it just, it wasn't doing it for me. Like, I knew the things that needed to be handled, the things that needed to be solved, and it wasn't doing it for me. The fact that doing all this other stuff, and that's kind of like where the solitude thing like came in, is because I was so focused. When we're so focused on one thing, it's like you're going through all these issues in life, and the distractions, sometimes the distractions just don't do it for you anymore. They're not doing the things that they need to do for you that they once did before. You know, going out with people, having fun, drinking, all that. Like, no matter what sometimes you find yourself in a spot where no matter what you do, no matter what you try to do, like whether you try to be social and this and that, it just isn't working.
Well, doesn't it fall into the category of something else that you had talked about before, which is temporary solutions?
Yeah, it's like, yeah, like that. Like, because you realize at one point, sometimes you realize at a point that what you're doing is just temporary. Like, it's like, bro, this isn't going to solve my issue. This isn't going to solve things at home.
It's cool for now, but what about after?
Exactly. How is this gonna help me in my financial situation? Is this gonna get money in my pocket? Is this gonna help me and my family right now? Is this gonna take away the stressor in my life right now? And then when you realize no, you're like, bro, no. Like, so what am I doing? And then you end up blocking yourself away and pulling yourself away from other people. And so that's sort of my whole thing with that. You know, what do you have to?
I feel like I went completely off topic because in the beginning when I was listening and you were saying you want to handle things all by yourself and like that deals with your ego, right? But at the same time, I also believe it depends on who's around you. And if you don't trust those people who are around you, then there's no way you're going to be vulnerable.
That was
them,
it,
right?
too. That was it, too.
And that's the thing is sometimes we don't realize how toxic people are, or, you know what I mean, that they're kind of only in it for themselves, or it's a transactional relationship, or it's a transactional friendship, and it's not a true, valid friendship where you guys are pouring into each other because you want to, right? So that's where, I mean, obviously you're not going to put your guard down and tell people and be vulnerable with people on, you know what I mean, the problems that you have because you don't feel safe. And that's you protecting yourself the same way, you know what I mean, you're protecting yourself from all these other things, that you don't want to be around people, that you don't want to do this. You realize that there's something that needs to be fixed or healed or something, but maybe you just don't know what it is. But at the same time, you're not going to let it out to just anybody.
Yeah.
Right?
Then to kind of talk about what you like to kind of go into what you're talking about, a saying that I had come up with was private L's for public doves, because a lot of people
Private L's
you can't give them the satisfaction of letting them see you down. A lot of people are gonna refer back to the time like, hey, remember when it was something negative? Hey, remember when you used to do this? Like, bro, you're remembering me for something negative instead of looking at me for the positive that I'm doing now. You're gonna try and drag me back to a time and place that I didn't want to be in then, and I don't want to think back on now. And so it's kind of hard to distinguish between people who are genuinely there and you can conversate with, because I know for me, I'm a pretty close person. Like, I'm the type to help everybody else around me, and then in the end of the day come back to what I got going on, sit there and just deal with my stuff going on the side. And I'd say my sense of solitude, like where that really came in for me, was more so just focusing on my own path, was more so taking the time to invest in myself more and just stop focusing on what everybody else is doing. And then the prime example of that is, for me, something I was trying to be more aware of to break certain bad habits was when I wake up in the morning, stop looking on Instagram, stop looking on Snapchat, stop waking up and the first thing I'm doing is just picking up my phone for an hour or whatever it is. I want to stop doing that because I'm just sitting there looking at other people's lives, looking at what they're doing. That's not getting
Comparing.
anywhere. It's not getting
Right.
anywhere. I'm in my own lane in terms of what I'm doing with the stuff that I create. I don't want to look at what anybody else does. Like, there's certain times where I'll purposely go out and look for certain influences. Like, I'll do my research, but waking up, watching people's stories, doing all this other stuff, it's not getting me anywhere. At that point, I just wasted an hour that I could have spent reading. I could have spent doing whatever, doing something more productive. And so there's different aspects where I wanted to practice that sense of solitude, but there's a limit to that, because at a certain point, you kind of need some type of social interaction, whether it's your siblings or whether,
But that's where you monitor those interactions and you monitor who's gonna be allowed to come in and influence you, regardless of whether you think they're influencing you or not, right? Because you might see something negative, maybe it's not gonna trigger you or hit you or whatever, but then all of a sudden you go walking along and then it's like, oh dang, you know what I mean? But to go to your point, I mean, it's hard to find people who are going to celebrate your successes as their own, right? And that's a big deal because you have to literally filter through people. And the sad part also is sometimes, like I said, you have to filter through people. When you start growing and you start healing and you start becoming a better person, if your friends around you aren't doing the same, then you gotta, I mean, sadly, but you gotta leave them and you gotta go to, you know what I mean? You can be acquaintances with them, but you can't let them feed off of now your newfound, you know, character, your newfound morals, your newfound values, because you got to continue to grow and continue to elevate. You know what I mean? Exactly. And you can't be stuck in that same pot, you know what I mean, with your friends, trying to help them grow and do all this stuff when it's like, no, you need to water your own plant. You need to get out of that pot and go into a bigger one. You need to, you know, get into a new environment because otherwise you're just going to be stuck.
That's all facts. I think personally for me, that's the biggest thing that I'm focusing on right now. Personally, like, for me, it's become easier over time to know what type of energy I want around me, what type of energy to give out. And it's not even necessarily being fake. It's different people get different versions of you. So the same, I might have met this person 2 years ago and they might have got a different piece of me that somebody else is going to get, right? But the people who the people whose, you know, whose energy I exchange with, the people who come around me is people that I consider close to me. If the people that I could consider my brother are the people who I'll celebrate their success as my own. If they, whatever it is, if they just got a new job, they passed a test, they dropped a song, they did whatever, something that means something to them, I'm gonna celebrate their success as my own. Because a lot of the time, a lot of people just want to be heard. So, or, you know, a lot of the time, some people just want that, I don't know how to put it, but a lot of time people won't go out their way to simply just say, great job. Or simply just say, you know, you're doing good, keep going, or just give you that sense of acknowledgement, right? The people who I keep around me are people I have no issue. People who I see they have potential. I see, like, I have no issue. You need to borrow this money. I don't count favors of people that I consider close to me. To take that and do something better for yourself. I don't care. Don't worry about paying me back. Pay yourself back. Those are the people who I can come out of my shell around, people who I can, you know, break that solitude from, you know, and associate with. But then when it comes back to just me in the end of the day, when I'm focusing on that solitude, I really just take the time to invest in myself because I spend a lot of time helping others. And so now I'm really focusing on helping myself, like what you're talking about, watering your own plant, you're helping others around you. I'm motivating a lot of people around me, and then I might come home at the end of the day and myself not be motivated. Like, dang, like, you know, I don't feel like doing this or whatever it is, and I'm not asking for anybody to come over there and tell me, hey, you need to get up and do this. I'm taking that time by myself to tell myself, you need to get up and make this happen. So, yeah.
Going back to when you said, like, different people get different versions of yourself, I think that's a negative. Like, sometimes people think that's a negative or whatever, because, like, you're being fake or phony. But at the same time, that's supposed to happen because with different people, you're establishing trust, right? And the longer you know people, or the more integrity they have or the less integrity they have, that's what version of you they're going to get, right? Because trust isn't just automatic. Trust is earned, right? So that's why people would get a different version of you, because, like, okay, you know what I mean? You've been here, you've shown your integrity, you've shown that you're solid, cool. You know what I mean? This is what I am right here, you know.
To even go deeper into that as well, I talked about this on a different episode, but I say that the trust and respect factor is different. So with everybody that I come in contact with, I give everybody the same basic level of respect. Through their actions, they show whether they're up here, down here. That's not up to me. I'm gonna treat everybody the same. I also say, and I said this before, I always say this, I have no power over any other human being to judge another person's way of life. I have all types of friends that do whatever, A through Z, they do whatever it is. I don't judge, but the one thing, if I could tell somebody is a genuine human being or they have a good heart, I'm not worried about the extras, because a lot of people like to paint pictures about other people. Don't associate with this person for this reason, whatever it is. And they could be the most down-to-earth person. I met homeless people who are more genuine people than people I encounter with on a daily. So I don't look at the image, I just give that basic level of respect and just talk to people. and just give somebody a chance.
Yeah, you never know, for sure.
But through that, you kind of pick up on people's energy and body language and stuff like that too.
And I think like to go to that, like seeing people win. Yep, it's doing this. Here we go. This is what I didn't have.
Is that the internet?
I don't even know if it's still going anymore. Because when that happens, usually. Well, thank God it's recording.
Oh,
It's
so
it's
lucky.
recording now, so it's not gonna be choppy. To go back to that. Like being around people who have like either similar interests or are moving up in life as you are trying to do. I think on that note, a lot of the times when I've had to make that decision of, you know, letting people go in my life, you know, it's not easy sometimes because obviously you've either grown up with those people or you went to school with them, or, you know, and to see like at a certain point there comes the time when it just happens. You just diverge from certain people and there's no way around it. Like it is what it is. And due to my lack of trust due to my lack of trust in a lot of things or just I believe it's because it happened after high school. I wasn't.
So what exactly? What is it? Be more specific.
Just changing my mentality on a lot of things, like getting rid of a lot of people. Just that I did all that like after I graduated because I was like, bro, like I cut a lot of people off just because like I realized that either they just weren't on the same, like, you know, I like to surround people like with similar, the same wavelength as me, and I figured that, you know, a lot of people weren't, and I was just like, all right, bet, like if that's what it is, like y'all still on that stuff, like I'm not, sorry, like I'm trying to go, you know, go places, I'm trying to do things, and they're still down here, and it's like how do you
But it's still different because sometimes you want to give them the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah, of course, that's why you keep around so long.
Exactly.
That's
like,
why
hey,
you
if you're
stay.
trying to grow, I'm not going to cut you off,
Yeah.
nothing like that. Like, I'm going to be here so you can, you know, see what I'm doing
That's why you stay.
and be with me.
Like,
But at the same time, I'm not going to stay here
But
forever.
after a certain exactly, like I stayed for years for certain people. Like after a while, it's like, come on, like what, you know what I mean?
And I always say this. I was telling this to somebody the other day. Different things click for different people at different times. That's be
for
true in many aspects of life. And I really developed that when I was working at the gym. And I was when different people, there'd be members who had not worked out a single day. I would have been there for like a year. Would not have seen that member for a year, and they'll just come in out of nowhere. Hey, you know, I've had a membership for the longest, and you know, today's my first day. I thought I'd get to it. Great, come on in. Like I hope to see you guys in here more. Like don't be embarrassed. Like be happy. You know, like just feel it. And I say
You're trying, yeah.
That the original saying was everybody has a different fitness journey. But I was saying different things click for different people at different times because the same day I'm gonna be like, my motivation for working out on January the 25th, that might click for me on the 25th.
But that's where, so that's not fair for people to think that you need to be at my same level right now.
Because it clicks at
because I'm going to be at the same level, but then maybe I'm going to go backwards, or maybe I'm going to do whatever.
One day.
But you're not going to bounce because you realize that, oh, I was there too.
And
you know what I mean? And that's where you give that empathy or grace or, you know what I mean, whatever to that person and understand, just like you said, because that's a reality in relationships, any type of relationship, in a friendship, in anything.
Yeah.
Well, yes, within reason. But I'm just saying the reality is, you know what I mean, that nobody's really going to be in sync or on the same level on every single, you know what I mean, the mental, the spiritual, the physical, all that.
Exactly,
No
you have to make compromises here and there.
Exactly.
It's gonna be,
Exactly.
That's where being open-minded comes in hand. And that's where I made it a big point to not be judgmental. Like that, I made that one, like, because I'm like when it comes to principle, like I'm big on principle. Like I'm militant with principle. So what I was saying, he was saying people that you grew up with that are, it's hard to cut certain people off, whether you grew up with them from this age or whatever it is. And how I asked him to specifically clarify what it was that clicked for him. And that's why I brought up the saying, because when that clicked for me, people look at it as cold-hearted, whatever it is, and at the end of the day, I'm protecting my energy. I
Yeah.
became more militant with it, like through people doing certain actions, they showed whether or not I can associate with them.
Yep.
There's certain people who have never even seen what my parents look like, can't even tell you my last name that's around me, can't tell you certain details about me. And that's a certain distance that you got to keep specific people at. Whether or not you're working around a lot of new people, a lot of new faces on the daily, whether you're coming in contact with friends or whoever it is, you don't know everybody's intent. But
Right.
for me, I'm strong on it's more than what people are saying. It's body language. It's just how the energy.
Oh, yeah.
Like if you're standing in a room with somebody and they're making you uncomfortable, for me, when I come around a bunch of new people, I'm pretty quiet at first. People might think it's awkward or whatever. No, I'm really feeling out the
Same,
room.
yeah.
If I don't like the energy or I don't like what's going on in this room based off just observing, I'm not coming out of my shell. But if I feel like, oh yeah, there's good people, and you can tell, like if I feel like it's good people, it's good. Like I'm coming out my shell, it's time. And so that's why I pick up on, when it comes to associating with different people or just knowing what extent you can go to with certain people, or it just comes on picking up on more than just what they're saying. It's through actions, through other stuff like that.
Yeah, I think also like another thing about keeping people around certain limits is also when they actually this just happened recently, where it was the thing that I was searching about that whole thing, but I know why, like the how that even how like how yeah like so
I have no idea.
basically something happened where
Okay, listening. Okay.
Something happened with A, B, and C, and D, E, F,
Trying to figure out.
and X.
okay so recently, let's just say that somebody, well, all of a sudden it's multiple people have been coming back from the past, all of a sudden. And when that thing, but however, it was this one specific thing that happened with one specific person that kind of
Gibberish right now. I'm lost.
It's cryptic.
knocked me out of my shell a little bit.
He's talking to Harley.
And it made me
Harley
know.
Train.
I'm trying to say that this situation made me realize, it made me regret a certain
A certain action that you did at a point in time.
it made me regret trusting somebody again. It made me regret
an energy that you wish you didn't. But here's the thing, which I tell you can't regret that.
Like giving someone a second chance.
It made me regret, it made me think see, this is why I did that in the first, this is why I did what I did in the first place. This is why I was like that in the first place because of that.
So you had to
You can't
repeat
dwell
it.
on certain situations like this because you gotta understand. All you can really do is maintain to be the best version of you. If you gave that person the best version of you and they took that energy and did whatever with it, that's on them. You can't be mad. In the end of the day, you gave authentic and genuine you. You can't control anybody else's actions. They're gonna do what they're gonna do in the end of the day. And like I said, I told you, I think I might have told you this off the air, where I had a conversation with somebody else because he was heartbroken over a situation. This was a couple months back. He was heartbroken over this situation. And he was really just trying to understand. He said, bro, I don't know what I did wrong. He was stressing out this female. I don't know what's going on, all this. And I was like, bro, you're gonna drive yourself crazy trying to understand why this person is thinking the way that they are. This is what the situation is. So trying to put yourself in somebody else's mindset, a lot of the time, you're not gonna understand why they're doing what they're doing. And you might not ever have the answer, and I promise you're gonna.
You
drive
can't
yourself
set
crazy.
your expectations on other people because then you're just gonna be disappointed. If you
Disappointed.
think that person's gonna tell you why they did it, whatever, no, you're just gonna be disappointed.
A lot of people don't even feel like they owe you an explanation. For me, how I'm militant about certain things, or it's the principle. Like, bro, if I really don't feel
Don't expect
explaining,
an explanation. That's why.
not like if somebody. For me, I'm not a hard person to get along with, but it's like, bro, if they violate, because I'm not.
Yeah, exactly. It's like
I'm
they
not saying,
violated.
I'm not
I'm
saying
like,
I'm
bro.
tripping off a lot of stuff, but if they violate, a basic principle that I have.
Disrespect.
Yeah,
Like
that's
straight
it.
disrespectful,
Yes,
it's
that's
bro,
exactly how I'm
not
taking
coming
it.
at anybody else with disrespect.
I'm
So
not
if they're
disrespecting
blatantly,
you. Exactly.
don't disrespect me if they're blatantly coming out, or they blatantly just do something just janky, like they just bro, there was no need for that, and I don't even gotta explain, then they know they violated principle. That's how. I don't even owe them an
And
explanation.
you're still trying to wait around for me. Nah, bye.
Nah, bro, it's good.
Yeah, it is.
Not me.
it just made me think like I went through all this and like I
So you had a friendship or relationship.
Oh wait, no, I know what the situation was.
Yeah.
What you sent me,
That's
right?
what I'm saying. I mean, I want to
it wasn't-
be able to relate to you, but I feel like you're
Okay.
just all over the place, so
Another
I can't.
thing-
However, it wasn't the fact that it wasn't the fact that it was her doing it. It
feel
was
like we need to go
because
to the next
I
subject.
went back. I
We're gonna
I
come back
drugged
to
the
this. I know he's gonna vent about this again, but we need to go to the next subject because this is just getting
What I
all.
will tell you, because I know this is still heavy on your mind.
That's my issue.
Here's-
So I found that. So I'm like 99%
I don't
because there
think my
was no
viewers are
other
interested
way.
in the tea right now.
So
So then it made me think like, wow, like really, bro? Like
I'm gonna clarify this. I'm gonna make this more clear. So without being specific, I'm gonna make this more clear. When people who may have done you wrong in the past, there's people who you left in the past for a specific reason.
Yep.
But when those people from the past, for an unknown reason, try to come to the present or try to be a part of the future with no explanation, they just pop up out of nowhere. And it's like, bro, like if you did me wrong or whatever it is, what are you doing for one? You're gonna look at that as what is the point in you popping up now? Like, what is the point in either you leave text?
If you have not changed, and you think that I'm gonna
away
accept
from
you who you are, when I left you just as you were,
that's out. Stay
you
over there.
have me
Go back where you came from.
messed up.
Yeah, go back where
Because
you
that's
came
not
from.
me.
Nah.
I'm not gonna waste my time now like I wasted back then. So thank you. Next.
And don't allow these people to draw you back to a place that you don't want to be mentally. If you put in all this work to
Yes.
if you put
Yes.
in all this work to better yourself as a human being, like
To get away from that situation,
there's so
yes.
much work I've done on myself, like mentally, since high school. Since then, to better myself as a person, like that was something that was really bothering me. My mind state, like how I was as an individual, trying to look at things in a more positive lighting, being less judgmental, being more about principles and stuff like that. I'm not gonna let somebody from my past turn me back into, because I'm not gonna say I'm a whole new person. That's not what I'm saying. But I'm not gonna let them degrade my mindset and take me back to a place where I don't want to be.
You became more aware of what you didn't want to be, so you made sure that you
Don't
got
let
away
these
from
people
that.
draw
But
you out of character.
yeah,
Yep.
exactly.
Yeah, that almost happened to me the other night. I was this
This has
close.
been happening to me
I was
whole
this
week.
close. I was
Through
this
every
close.
emotion today. Yesterday.
Don't let them people try you.
But that's.
I was this close. I was getting so pissed.
Easy.
I was
Exactly. It's easier said than done because you want so bad. You know what I mean? Like today, I was successful at what I did. Got my power back. But I am just saying. Today, somebody tried to, you know what I mean? Tried to try me, tried to take my power, tried to make me feel like, hey, I'm better off without you, or hey, I'm having fun over here. And I was like, oh, that's cool. You have fun over there, but I'm not going to even acknowledge you. But let me hold the door for you while you walk out because I'm not rude. But bye. Have a nice day. Oh, you thought I was going to talk to you? No, I don't have time for that.
That's not it.
You know what I mean? And it's like, oh, I'm sorry. Just like you said, I'm not going to get trapped back over here. You know what I mean? Just because what is it that I'm going to gain from you? I just left you, or you just left me. And so bye.
And you could already gauge that just from that short interaction. Like it's not going.
Exactly. But that's what I'm saying. Where this person was all happy, excited to see me, and I was like, whoop. Like nothing. You know what I mean? Like who are you? I'm sorry.
Even with daily interactions like that, or I'm not even just specifically about the past, but anybody. When I say don't let them people is anybody. Don't let them people draw you out of character. And we did say that is easier said than done. Obviously.
Yeah,
That is
but I
obviously.
think it's also because it's like you're a good person or you have good character or morals. Just like you said, you started reflecting towards yourself, not pointing the finger at somebody else. Like that's growth for sure.
Not like
And it
it's
was like,
perfect.
what can I do to make sure that this doesn't happen again? What am I in control of? What expectations can I set for myself?
And that all ties into me not trying to watch what everybody else is doing on social media. How am I supposed to focus on myself if I'm watching what everybody else is doing? How am I supposed to work towards the mindset. I'm not even going to say the me that I want to be. Work towards the mindset that I want to have. If I'm looking at what everybody else is displaying, that's not getting me anywhere.
Right.
That's
again, if they're not healthy or if they're not contributing positively. But that's the same thing. I was listening to a podcast where he was like, hey, you guys are trying to make $1 million, but you need to act like you already have that $1 million, because once you have that $1 million, you're going to go bankrupt because you weren't preparing yourself mentally for that. So, you know what I mean? It's kind of like the same concept. Like, you need to prepare yourself mentally for what do I want to expose myself to, just like you said. And if somebody's being negative or whatever exposure that you don't want, like, you need to just get rid of it and say, hey, I'm only going for positive things, or I'm only making sure that the people that I follow are celebrating my successes and not going to tear me down. And that one time that they tear me down, sorry, mute, whatever it is, gotta go.
And that's becoming more militant about it after being exposed to certain things enough times to know that's out, and to even go deeper, to be able to, because every day you could go through your everyday life, right? It's like when somebody says there's a difference between you hearing me and you listening to what I'm saying. I'm gonna turn this into what you're seeing versus you could look at something, but what you're actually seeing, what you're actually processing is different. So being able to actually interpret what you're processing, like that, because people can disguise that love when they could disguise the love when it's really hate. So to be able to acknowledge when it's really hate or what you're exposing yourself to, because a lot of people are going to portray themselves as all this is going on, while meanwhile they're doing tricks behind their back. They got whatever's going on, but they're showing you what's in this hand, but they got something behind their back. So being able to not only see that they got their hand behind their back, but to process, oh yeah, they got their hand behind their back and there's more to it. Instead of just looking at it and accepting, oh yeah, just looking at this when they still got
being
this
naive.
right here.
Yeah, exactly.
Being naive. So being able to distinguish what you're receiving, what you're feeding your brain, basically. Because I noticed for me, I felt like I was feeding my brain a lot of BS. I was like, stuff I was seeing on a daily, whether it was, for me personally, and I think I talked about this before, but I think it was one of my first jobs. I was a bagger, right? Typical job, but the area and just the things that I was seeing on a daily and where I was working at, whether it would be, and this comes back to, this is when I kind of developed that mindset of not judging, because there would be like a lot of homeless people over there, and there's some of them, like one of the closest homeless people, like one of the homeless people that I was closest to, he ended up passing away, but I would have a cart run, and for an hour I'd have to go outside, collect the carts, and he would just be sitting out there. I'll chop it up with him for the whole hour. But then you have some people that's shooting up in the bathroom, doing all this other stuff, and me being however young I was, I gotta go clean up after the needles, all this other stuff at a young age. So seeing stuff like that on the daily, and when I'm feeding myself at this job, I was like, I kind of just want to move on. Like a lot of people, they've been stuck here. There's people at that job,
still
not
to
even
this
judging,
day, 30 years later,
went to the same high school as me, and is 20, 30 years older than me. And that was a wake-up call. I'm not even judging, but I've heard them themselves even tell me, stay in school, go, this is not your end destination, go further than here. So to be seeing all these different things on the daily, and to have the people I'm working with tell me, go further than this, yeah, like I gotta change. But
I feel like that's their cop out, because that's them being comfortable. Because, you know what I mean? Where there's a will, there's a way. And if you really wanna, but I'm just saying, like, I feel like, I mean, obviously they want you to succeed, which is great. But at the same time, for them to be like, don't be like me, you know, go to school and do all this stuff, I feel like, well, that's just because you got comfortable. Because if you really wanted to get out of here, like, you could. You know what I mean? I mean, mind you, it's gonna take a lot of work, and it's gonna take a lot of work around finding money and all this other stuff, but at the end of the day, like I said, where there's a will, there's a way, and you're just gonna have to work harder than everybody else, but that doesn't mean that you don't want it, right?
And that was, working harder was never the issue. I just realized at a young age, like, that can't be me. This was the mindset,
right.
Like,
exactly.
It's not going to be me.
Right.
I'm not even judging their mindsets, only for the simple fact that there's some of the coworkers that I have from that job, like I talked to a few of them to this day. Dude is happy working there.
And that's
his wife is going on trips. They went to China. They got nice home, all this other stuff.
Yeah.
So I'm not even judging that. And I talked to them because a lot of, like, I just got comfortable. Whether I like just gaining knowledge. So whether it's a lawyer, whether it's a real estate agent, whatever, I would ask certain people in certain positions, like, what did you do to get here? Like, what do you acclaim? Like, you know, like, how did you get the success, or what you perceive as success, or whatever it is? How did you get here? Just ask them certain questions.
That's a topic for next week. What do you define as success?
That is one, but that to not stray away from that. Basically, just talking to people.
Yeah.
And not judging their response, or just taking the time to just simply learn something. Like,
right.
Oh yeah,
wherever you go with whoever you're around.
I wouldn't change what I did, but this is what I did. Or, you know, it used to be different for me back in my day, but here's what you could do to take this route or whatever. And I'm like, okay, so I started expanding my knowledge on a broad spectrum of things, and, you know, different fields and stuff like that. And so I was kind of taking steps to plot on my next move. Like, all right, this is where I'm gonna go, this is what I'm gonna do. And that I was doing that like 15, 16 years old. Like, I was not feeling working there. Like I told you, dudes was working there since they were 15 years old. I was the youngest employee at that place, and they're working there since they were my age. Talking about they went to the same high school as me, and they've been with that company for.
But like you said, if they're happy, then they're happy, right?
Damn.
And that's the thing. Is not. I mean, you don't need a lot to be happy or to be joyful or to be. You know what I mean? Like,
I
you
just
don't
know
need.
I have a certain goal, and I know for the most part what I need to do to achieve that goal, and I just know
For you to be successful and for you to be happy.
That wasn't it for me.
Right.
That place, that was not it for me. I felt like there was more that I'm intended to do. Not saying that that's more or less. For me personally, that just wasn't the last place I was going to be.
Right.
Yeah, people need to. On the point of people being stuck in the same spot and all that, I thought the same way when I worked at Denny's. Like, that was.
When you work at a young age, period.
You just seeing. No, but the thing is, not only that, but coming back years later and still seeing the same. That's what really like got me, is because I was there 17, 18, and then coming back like years later to the same Denny's.
That's you judging somebody, and that's why I said as long as they're happy, then it shouldn't matter.
Oh, yeah, that's what.
Like you said, that's just not your spot. That's just not what you want.
The only issue I have with the situation is just that's not for me.
Yeah.
And for me, like, I think my very first job was at a Christmas tree farm. I was 14 years old. Everybody else was like 40, 50, where I'm not even technically able to even use the tools to cut the tree. You got to be 18 to at least operate the chainsaw, do all this other stuff. But to be in that environment, and to kind of just hear them talk, and just at a young age hear how people wish that they had done this, or, you know, done that, whatever it is. Just hearing a lot of that, just hearing a lot of people regret a lot of the choices that they've done. So that kind of just made me reflect on what I'm gonna do as an individual, regardless of what they've done. And again, not judging the situation, but just hearing like, okay, when I was your age, I wish I had done this. Okay, now I know. I'm not saying I'm gonna do that, but, you know, it's good to hear what other options are. Basically, learning from other people's mistakes, to not either recreate that or
regrets, not mistakes. Because if it was a mistake, then they wouldn't be there, right? They would try and get out of there. But they regret.
Not getting out. Yeah, exactly.
Well, but they would tell me some of their mistakes too.
I'm not saying that's their only regret, but I'm just saying they obviously regret it if they think you can do better, you know, but they don't think it's a mistake otherwise.
Yeah, that's a lot of, like, the reason why I said about, you know, the place that I worked is because, you know, I could tell that they weren't happy. Like I could tell that it was more of a thing of comfortability more than it was being comfortable, being complacent. That's what it was. That's a lot of the time. That's what I learned about. I mean, that's a part of like the restaurant industry as a whole. I learned that the hard way anyway, but that's a whole nother conversation. But
so next topic.
That's the whole point. The restaurant industry itself is just, I saw like
they all blossom again now that the shelter-in-place orders have been
outdoor at least.
This was one I was trying to
silly.
Oh, good stuff. That's when I learned, like, I learned at a young age, like, dude, people. I always ask myself why. Certain people just stayed where they were. Why people were never trying to, like, get, you know, go up, and like why, because people felt stuck. Like when you've done something just for so long, and I almost fell into that trap, especially in the restaurant industry. I almost felt like I was like, well, you know, it's not gonna get any better than this. I might as well just stay here. Like no, like I had to. Working in the restaurant industry taught me, like, that there's always a step up. You could always be doing better. You could always be moving up. You could always be making more. Like, oh, you made something this weekend? Okay, you can do better next weekend. Let's see how much you make next weekend.
But it's not always about money.
It's not, but I'm not talking about the money thing.
Knowledge.
Yeah.
But you were.
It's not about the money thing, but it's the idea of there could always be something better. There could always, 2
episodes ago.
Yeah.
Which was a lot of people. So when I talk about my goals, a lot of people will be like, well, money's not always happiness. Money should not be your motivation. For me personally, the reason why I want to be successful and have money is to help out those around me. My goal is
money can be a motivation. It just may not be the end all be all or whatever. You know what I mean? And that's where money can motivate. Like money motivates me for sure.
Yeah. I want to help those who, if say that I got to crash at their mom's crib when I was younger, their moms made me breakfast, whatever it is, their family treated me as family. I'm watching everybody else around me struggle. Just from my strive for money is just from being young and watching everybody else around me struggle and not being able to live necessarily how they want to live. I just want to basically see smiles on everybody else's face. Like really, like that's my goal at least. That's why I want to have money. That's why I'm driven for it. Me personally.
You want to invest in other people with the money that you get.
Invest in the people who invested in you, who saw something.
Well, invest in your community,
so they can invest in themselves.
But yeah,
because it's one thing I'm not just handing out. I'm gonna try and hand out money. I could either give you $50. I could show you how to make $50. So there's a balance between it because, like I said, at the same time, somebody's asking like, "Hey, can I have this? Whatever it is." And there's people that's close to me. Of course, I'm not just going on my way for everybody, but people who's close to me, people who mean something to me, I'm not gonna count that favor. But I'm just trying to be in a better situation like that. I think we talked about that like 2 episodes ago or so, or like three episodes ago.
Yeah, it was also another thing that I had recently just posted on Instagram. It was a clip of a interview that Floyd Mayweather was doing, and he was saying like, oh, when I go to my billionaire friend's house, like, you know, he would say to them like, he's like, oh, you know, it's cool that you have this $1 million house, but, you know, show me how to get it. Show me how to get mine. He's like, it's cool that you have a.
He said, I didn't want to go to their house.
He's like, I wanted my own. He was like, you know, it's cool that you have a private jet, but show me how to get a private jet too. Like, he was like, it's cool for you to have all this stuff, but, you know, show me how to get it too. Like, show me how I can get it. Like, how do I get this stuff that you have?
He said nobody showed him how to, so he had to go do it himself. But we as the community should be helping other people so that they can help, you know what I mean? So that they can gain the knowledge that you already have because you invested or whatever. Not that you're taking a shortcut, but basically you're helping them out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because if that's really what they want, then they're going to put in the work. But
Teaching
you're just
them
giving them, you know what I mean? Maybe a few points along the way.
That's not, like giving them points along the way, that's not necessarily like a handout. That's like, because you still have to, you still have to, you can know how to do something, but you still have to do it. You know what I mean? And that's, you know,
you're not giving them the money to do it. You're not
showing them how to get the money to do it, showing them how to get the things they have. Like it's about, you're
saying, here's some
knowledge.
resources. Here you go.
And you can do what you want with it. I could show you all this stuff, but it's about how you use it. I can give you this, but are you really gonna do it?
If it's like my family members or my mom or whatever, right here. Go buy something with that. But in terms of like, one thing that I want to say more so in the past year or two, like I taught myself how to invest in stocks. Like when I was really like driven, I'm like, bro, like I need to make something happen. And like I was telling somebody about this conversation the other day, and I talked about this on another episode. But just being unhappy with my situation, the job that I was working at, because it was like a construction type job, and I'll be sitting in the work truck in the morning, just hot, like bro, I'm not supposed to be
angry,
hot, like bro, like it smells like
banging on bacon.
It smells like cigarettes in here. I'm up at 4 a.m. all this stuff. I'm lifting all day, doing all this other stuff, and I wasn't happy with that. And I'm like, bro, like what can I do? I had to ask myself that question every day, and that's when I have this conversation with people. I tell them, you got to ask yourself these questions because this is not an answer I can give you. When you ask yourself that question enough times, you're going to go out and find information. Okay, this is what it is. This is what I'm going to do. But I talk to my friends, even some of my family members are like, bro, like, how did you do that? Like, there's some friends I told to invest in a stock. I told 2 friends. One of them didn't do it, and he put his money into something else. And that's okay, because that's how you learn. I'm not going to babysit. That's how you're going to learn. He put his money into something else. He lost a lot of money. he made some money, but he lost a lot of money. One of my friends that listened to me about the stock, he made a lot of money. Like, he made a good amount of money for not having really ever invested in stocks and stuff like that. And not even to say, like, I felt successful in my own right. Even though I put a little bit in there, I just read articles, books, and stuff like that, and taught myself how to do something. So to tie into that, people who I care about, like, bro, try this. Like, I just learned how to do this. Like, it worked for me. Maybe it may or may not work for you, but here's some knowledge. Like, try it. And, you know, you get to see, like, and to see people happy off of, to see people appreciate something that I helped them with, or to see a smile on their face after I taught them something and it worked for them, it's like gratifying. Like, it's a good feeling.
It's rewarding.
Yeah. It's rewarding.
Think about that. I'm gonna ponder about that. Just spitting knowledge,
And
taking it.
somebody use that knowledge,
Yeah.
and it actually working is a great feeling. It's an
Yeah.
amazing feeling.
Especially when it's someone who's, you know, someone who's been loyal to you, someone who's been real with you, someone who's, you know, that's my thing about success and like getting money. That's what I want to do as well. Like, I'm trying to be in a position to where, like, also, like, I can, you know, but I also remember, like, the people who were there before. Like, I also remember that, because that's important too. Like, I remember who's here now, who's here, like, for the struggle, like
bro,
who's here for the hard times,
there's
who's
no
there before
reason-
you get it.
There's no reason we all sitting at the same table. I'm eating Benny Hibachi and you eating Taco Bell. There's
Yeah.
no reason that, like, I'm not even gonna feel comfortable doing that in front
I
of
want
their
those
face.
nacho fries though.
Not even saying that that's bad, but I'm just saying
Yeah, it's
there's no
you know,
reason why
you shouldn't
I'm
be
not
heating
having-
up me reheating McDonald's while I'm sitting here eating
You
like $200
not even
steak.
fresh McDonald's. You just
Reheating,
the fries.
bruh, that was my hood that said, you know, it's a different type of struggle when you reheat
When you
McDonald's.
reheating the fries, and I'm over here eating some Korean.
Yeah, if you got an air
barbecue.
fryer, that's not too bad though, to be
Okay,
honest.
but
though.
even still,
Yeah,
like,
but
that was
serious,
just,
if you
you know.
reheating 99-cent fries from that, come on.
But if we're at the same table, I'm gonna show you some. I'm gonna try in the best of my power what I know to make sure you do it too.
Exactly. Like, you got to remember, like, who was there before, because it's a different, it's like people, like, they see you struggling, they see you, you know, all this and that, and then they want to dip or whatever, like, when things are tough. But then all of a sudden
you can't
when,
put everybody onto that knowledge though. There's certain
yeah, of course. But then all of a sudden, like, when you get some, when you start doing, but then they want to, like, scurry back over and, like, run back. Where were you, like, before?
That's where
Like,
my solitude came from. Like,
Yeah.
so this is what I say. When life keeps throwing you a bunch of curveballs, when you're trying to better yourself, that's how you know you're doing something right.
Yeah,
Because
when
you-
it's so difficult
a
and
lot of
so hard,
obstacles.
and it's easier to give up.
Yep,
And
that's how
you're
you know you
still
need to keep
doing
going.
it,
That's how
yeah.
you know.
Keep going. That's the most important time. When you keep getting thrown curveballs, keep going. And again, that's easier said than done. A lot of this stuff is easier said than done. But I saw a quote the other day. It said, "Principle is going to take you further than motivation, because there's going to be days where you're not motivated to go to the gym, but out of principle, you built up this routine. You're going. You're gonna go." Even if it's just for 30 minutes to an hour and you work out, whatever it is, you're gonna go. Regardless of motivation, you're gonna get up and do that.
Building habits, good habits. Like, if you build a specific routine, like, I've started to, like, you know, recently do this, like, within the past, like, just this past month, like, just trying to keep some sort of routine going, whether it's a workout routine, anything, and I have, like, a stick to that. Like, I have a plan, like, and
Whatever you've been doing, you need to put me back on, bro.
what do you mean?
Man's got fit in a short amount of time.
Mike Tyson workout and eating
He
less.
always does that. That's why it's like metabolism, or it's like
It got me
different
high.
guy
Nah.
stuff.
It's our
Because I was-
whole
I
life.
worked out for a whole 5 years.
Our whole
and I'm
childhood.
Still not where
I worked out for a month and I'm back
would
to
do some. I'll try something for the same thing that worked for him in a week would take me like 2 months. I'm like, bro, what is going on?
Diet.
It's not even that.
It's not
is that.
diet. I see
It
what
is.
you ate.
What do you mean? What do I eat?
You used to eat
Let's
all
not
types of sugar.
pretend.
You used to eat all types
did.
of
Cut it out. Yep, I cut it out.
cake, cookies,
I stopped
brownies,
doing it.
But you were still fit though.
No, it wasn't.
When you're that's when
I stopped doing it. Yeah, I stopped doing it. I cut out all that stuff.
You know what it's called?
Your diet is 80%.
No, but you know what it's
how
called.
you
though?
look.
You know what it's called?
Yes, it is.
No.
It's not.
You know what it's
Your
called?
diet is. Anybody will tell you that.
Regardless of diet, you know what it's called? You just built exquisitely different, bro. We're just not composed.
Your
the same.
diet and good genetics.
However, nonetheless,
Anyways,
this is something I was
Next.
looking at, and I wanted you to clarify because I'm not in your headspace to understand. I have a
I'm
feeling I
not
know
here
what
to
it
talk
means.
about fitness and health. I'm here to talk about all kinds of.
We can talk about anything because fitness and health matters for your mental health also.
Well, yeah, I know
How
that,
your
but
body-
that's
so,
where
yeah.
this is my more personal goal for me on my Instagram. It's like this is what I don't do, right? If I had a camera person to follow me around, then obviously that'd be great.
So you know,
But I'm just saying, but that's what a lot of people who follow me, like that's what they say. They're like, we want more personal content and we want to see like who you are. You know what I mean? And that's hard though.
To know you. Well, not today. It isn't.
At the
So
same time,
Well, that's what I'm saying. That's why I put it live.
a lot of people, it's your life. What you
Yeah,
feel-
and that's what I'm saying. So sometimes you know what I mean? I'm
Like,
like,
okay,
I just want to do it. Like I want to be
yeah.
private. But at the same time, sometimes it's like, oh, okay, yeah, I get it. Because if I'm asking people to, you know, train them and be in their life, then of course they want to know, well, what habits, what can I see from her that I know that she has integrity,
Yes.
right? She has value, she has worth, and she's preaching. You know what I mean? She's not just preaching; she's actually doing it.
There's a simple
You know what I
thing
mean?
that you
Because
just
there's,
taught me, though.
I will not hire a overweight trainer. I'm sorry, but I will not.
wow, really?
Overweight trainer. No.
How overweight are we talking?
It's
Are we
the-
talking-
Somebody who doesn't take care of themselves. What do you
nonetheless,
mean overweight? I didn't say thick. I didn't say heavy set. I didn't say.
We're talking
heavy
about
set.
just, like,
I didn't
physical
say nothing
training,
like
right?
that. I'm talking about.
We're talking about physical training, right?
Overweight.
Just like physical
Yes.
training. Okay.
Even,
Not like
even so, well, obviously, if I want a life coach, I'm not gonna go to somebody in jail or prison.
well, I mean, they know
They
they
might
did wrong though.
know-
They know now. They've learned their lessons. Like
They may have good insight, but I'm not gonna have them life coach me on how to make my life better, how to be successful, and all these other things.
you got to get it from someone who's
Like
in
I
a
said,
position.
they're gonna have insight, and they're gonna probably have really good
Well, that's when you
tips
take
and
everything
tricks
with
and
a
all
grain
this
of salt.
stuff. But at the same time, you know what I mean? They put themselves in that position. Mind you, they may have learned from it. They're, you know what I mean? They're forgiven. They're reconciled. They're, you know what I mean? They've committed their crime. They've done their time. All that stuff. But at the same time, I'm not gonna go to that person and be like, "Hey, can you coach me on how to, you know?" It just doesn't make sense to me.
Must already in that position. Like they're in a.
If I went to if they went to jail and all that stuff, and now they're a CEO of a company,
Yeah, exactly. They're already-
and I went to jail and I want to be successful, then yeah, I'm gonna go to them because they, you know what I mean? They
pertains
built
to
up
you.
that.
They can see your situation.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying. So that's where for me, my followers want to see, hey, what's, you know what I mean? Like I want to see your personal insight because I can easily just put on a show and I can easily just say, hey, this is what you need to do. I can easily show up for an hour, but what am I really doing behind the scenes? Am I, you know what I mean? Am I somebody who's really going to be influencing you on all aspects of life?
Yeah.
Because a trainer, I mean, yeah, they're there for an hour, but at the same time, you're a counselor, you're a life coach, you're everything all in one. You start to build a rapport, a relationship with that person.
Hour if you guys are really chopping it up. for what it
Right,
is.
because you really care about that person
It's a
and you really
genuine-
want to help that
genuine
person
interaction.
transform their body, their mind, their, you know what I mean, everything. You want to be there for them and you actually want to see them succeed
I had
in life.
interactions like that with my coworkers when I was at the gym. We were open for a month and closed back down in March. But the cool thing was once we closed down the gym, we were able to clean everything off. We could work out in the after hours. Nobody's in the break. But we would be pushing each other to limits that I didn't even physically know that I could go to. Like my manager, he was trying to do the jump, you know, the high jump. You hook the thing in there and then you just jump onto the box jumps. He was trying to do box jumps.
Yes.
Right? So me and him, I was keeping up with him. He's a little bit taller than me. I'm like average height. He's a little bit taller than me. And I think the one he was trying to get up to was 7 or 8. And he was like, well, I'd only done it once before, right? And so we're in there after hours. And sometimes I think that night we end up staying in there until the next morning. But he really was doubting himself. He felt like he could not do it. He could not jump up on 7. He banged up his shins, his knees, everything, and I did not let him quit. I was like, bro, stop. He was like, I don't like you, bro. He was like, I'm gonna be mad at you. I was like, I don't care. You could be mad, but I'm not gonna let you walk out of here and not complete this. I already saw that you could do this. He's standing in front of it, and he's scared to jump up. Like, I go up to it, and he's like, I can't do it. I can't do it. So we were in there, I'm like, not even gonna lie, for a cool minute. And by the time he finally did, you see his legs, they're all red, bruised up, and his skin was like whiter. So you can clearly see all the bruises and everything. And He did it.
Yeah.
I walked away to change the music on the speakers, and there's cameras in the room. He tried to tell me, "Oh yeah, no, I did it when you're out the room." I was like, "Bro, I saw you.
No,
You
yeah.
didn't jump up. I'm not."
I can definitely relate to that story, but actually it was Darian that was trying to jump on a box, and he's like, "Nah, I can't do it. And then our trainer, no, you don't have to remember it. I do. And then our trainer was like, "Mina," he's all, "That's bro, you can't jump that high. No. And our trainer was all, "Hey, Mina, come jump this real quick." And I was like, "Okay." So then I did it, and then after he's all, "Watch out, let me do it." And he did it. And that's what I'm saying. Sometimes there's that mental, right? But I get what you're saying. How you're like, "Nah, you're not gonna leave here until you do it."
And nobody has really ever even heard me yell. Like, they don't hear me yell. We're in there yelling. We're in there raising our voice. We just up. We're banging it against the ground. We're making all types of noise. We're yelling at him. We're yelling at him. We're slamming.
Trying to pump him up,
Crazy.
and he's all deflated.
We're slamming. All of us are in there yelling. And there was probably only like 4 of us in the building. We were making more noise than probably ever been in that building before, going crazy, just trying to get him to do it. And it took a minute. And I think I stopped at like 6 or 7, but I was like, bro, I know I can't do this. I'll try right now.
Yeah.
See, I went up there, I tried, I almost did it. I kind of hit my shin on there, and it hurt, but I was like, I did it. I told you I wasn't gonna be able to do it, but I tried.
Right.
So you saw it. So although you are going through this pain, I know you can do it. And eventually he was able to do it. And so the reason why I did that to him is because when we would be curling, or it was mainly with the curls, he would not let you drop the bar. You gotta just keep going. All right, do 5 more. You do 5 more. You gotta stop. No, don't stop. You got 5 more. You do 5 more. You know what? Just do 10 more. I'm like, bro, my arms, I can't even feel my arms. My arms are stuck like this. And he would not let you quit any of the machines you'd be going on. And he was like, he wants to be a trainer himself. And so he was like, it's cool. Like, I get to test. I was like, you guys are kind of like my guinea pigs. You get to test our workouts. So I was like, it's cool. I don't mind. Any workout you want to try out, whatever it is, I'll do it. Let me know. Show me, because I'm serious about getting fit. And he would have us. I think I have videos on my phone, but he would have us in there screaming, like, "You got this, you got this!" And one of the dudes was like, "I can't, coach." We'd be like, "Coach," and we call him Coach, just as a joke. And we'd be like, "Coach, I can't do it." And we'd be in there screaming. And again, it's like 3 of us making more noise that's ever been in that building, and he would not let us quit. So when it came time for him to do something that he felt like he couldn't do, we just return the same energy. It's like, bro, you have a goal or something that you're downing yourself on. If you didn't let me drop that bar, I'm not gonna let you not jump up.
Right, we're gonna hold each other accountable. Exactly.
So stuff like that was really cool, and that comes to what you're saying, how when you're, whether it's a trainer, whatever it is, it's deeper than just the training. You guys will have conversations when it comes to the certain insight or whatever it is. You know, that's important. You actually put me onto something, like the type of snacks and stuff that you eat, because I was asking myself, like, what can I eat that's healthy? And just off of observing, you're like, oh, I have this, and this. I was like, okay, so this is what healthy people eat. This is what snacks healthy people eat. It's good.
I always have pita chips in there, but yeah. And that's like, yeah. But yeah, I usually have trail mix, or like I said, pretzels with peanut butter, or fruit and vegetables and stuff like that.
Healthy stuff.
Next up. It's good stuff, Mr. Nutrition is 80%.
It is.
Okay then, and then you're all crapping on my snacks. Healthy stuff.
Yeah, I mean, look what you do for a reason. You eat good. So that's, eat good, work out hard. That's how you do it.
Oh, hey, Auntie Sabrina's on here. Auntie Sabrina.
Nice, I live in the bay. Who's that?
Okay, so what was the next subject?
The next topic, which was something that I wanted you to
he saw a quote that can you go ahead and we talked about this a little bit on phone. Can you go ahead and read that quote right there on the 3rd line?
What quote?
The first quote.
It ran in my family till it ran into me.
What does that mean? Can you explain that to the interview?
For me,
explain that.
That means, for me, it would be like stopping generational curses. So, or barriers and stuff like that. So things that ran in your family that were considered normal, or were considered regular, or were considered, what would I say? What would I give an example of that?
My girl was
we talked about it with your kid
earlier. I had a conversation with my girl at the table earlier, and she was like, I got some questions for you. And at first I'm like, bro, no, I didn't do anything. Like, why? Am I really about to get in trouble right now? I did nothing. And she was like, nah, it was just these. So.
Who that?
It's Lisa.
She brought out these questions, and I really thought I was in trouble for a second. I was like, bruh, I was trying to think of, I was like, I can't think of anything I did. Like, why? What is about to happen right now? And then she pulled these up, and then she was like, okay, what do you think about these? And I was like, okay. I looked over them. I knew that there was a couple that she wanted to ask me about, and it ran in my family, so it ran into me. We talked about that and a couple other ones that's on here, but it was kind of similar. Like, that's what we kind of came down to. I had to think about it for a little bit. But one was probably like
or like you're initiating change for your family so that it stops there. Like maybe if you were in an abusive family, there you go, right? So it was like, okay, my mom was in abusive relationships. I don't know if my grandma and grandfather were, but of course my mom was in an abusive relationship. And then after that, when we were kids, of course we were spanked and all kinds of stuff. Whether or not it was abuse or not, who knows? Let's not talk about that. I'm over 18 now, so anyway, obviously I learned my lesson if I'm still alive. But I'm just saying, so after that, I mean, for me though, I have children. I spanked them, but I don't think I spanked them as my mom spanked me. Like sometimes I would get spanked because my sister did stuff, and it was like, you know, so she'll learn or whatever it is. Well, but at the same time, sometimes she had a hard day at work and she needed something to take, you know what I mean, take out on. And that's where it was. So that was not even, well, yes, the domestic violence part, but at the same time, it was more of being aware of your emotions at the time and not having anger fuel your reactions towards your children or toward, So being more aware of your actions, whether it be anger, whether it be whatever. And so that for me, I think is what I stopped, if anything, from my past or my generation was, you know, I'm Puerto Rican, so we're very passionate people. We're very expressive people. We're very emotional people, right? So I think for me, I mean, I'm still passionate. I'm still emotional. I'm still all these things, but I'm more aware of it when I'm disciplining my children. I'm more aware of it when I'm talking to my children, so that I'm not just talking out of anger or talking out of, I think last episode we were talking about being able to, being able to, acknowledge your kids' successes and not just be hard on them and be like, well, you could have done better. Well, what about this? What about that? Like... Exactly. But I mean, like we were talking about last time, I'm like, I'm not going to praise them for doing their chores. That's just what they're supposed to do. But at the same time, I mean, like my daughter did my hair, right? She did my braids and I was like, oh, she did a great job. And I was like, it doesn't matter what it looks like. I am not going to say, oh, well, you could have done this or you could have done that, because like she did her best. And that's the reality of it. You know what I mean? Like it looks amazing. Too. Yeah, exactly.
So even if it, whatever it is right now, if that's something that she wants to pursue, you giving her that positive reinforcement, you know what? Let me try and do this.
It's like building them up instead of tearing them down, because my family was tearing me down. But at the same time, I knew from them, they had a military background. So that's what you're supposed to do, right? You're supposed to prepare your child for success. You're supposed to prepare your child to succeed in the world of war. Right, of battle, of competition, of all this stuff. So you're helping them because you're setting them up for the reality of the world, because the world's not going to be nice to you. It's just going to crap on you.
That's facts.
That was another thing that we talked. Remember when we were talking on the phone, and when I brought up that quote, it's like, bro, what is this? When another thing was like, the whole thing about when we were talking about unexpressive versus expressive housing, it's like you said that's where I wrote that quote, because you said that, you know, you didn't have that type of family, and because of the way that you were brought up, I wanted to change it. You changed it for your kids. You didn't want to keep the cycle going for your kids. You changed it. So that's why it ran unexpressiveness ran in your family until it ran into you.
Know because who forced me to come out my comfort zone in terms of being expressive?
Who came to come out the closet? What?
Whoa. Basically got me to be more expressive is what I'm saying. Who got me out of my comfort zone. Yes. But it was actually my girl, because she had a more expressive household. They're more, I love you, more affectionate. And for me, it's more through my actions. Like, I'm not going to go out my way and do this much for a person I don't care about. But at the same time, I got to find that balance of, the actions are nice, but sometimes I just like certain things to be said, certain things to be heard, whether it's an extra I love you or something like that, or, you know, just more hugs or whatever it is, just expressing, just being more expressive overall. And that's something I had to get more comfortable with over time, because me being somebody who just keep what I'm going through to myself and not really be outspoken in terms of how I'm feeling, just kind of just going through the motions. So that for me, most definitely, that was something that really kind of in a good way forced me to grow, forced me to come out of my shell, because of course me, like how you said like that, I wanted to change that. Like that's how I want to be. I want to be able to be more expressive and stuff like that.
You know, another thing, like when we talk about, you know, families and all this and that, one thing that I hope that I also put into that quote was just like how, like, was money also, like, you know, like you could say
like a struggle or what?
Like you could put anything into that quote, like unexpressiveness ran into my family, drug abuse ran into my family, domestic violence. You could also
but in a
put,
sense, it's a means for change, right?
It means for change, exactly. Like I put, like, poverty ran into my family until it ran into me. Like, you know what I mean? Like my family was always this way. We were always struggling this way.
So it's a positive, like, until hey, moving forward, I'm not just going to grab the baggage that my family had for me and take it into my next generation. Like, I'm gonna drop it at the door. See if I need anything from it. No, I probably don't. I don't even need to open the bag, basically. I just leave it at the, you know what I mean? Leave it for somebody else to grab. But I don't need to bring it anywhere.
Another thing, too, why I feel like that could carry over. Not, whether or not you speak on that to other people, not internalizing that to a certain degree, or not really processing, can cause certain people to lash out. So whether it's, again, so when you said sometimes your mom might have just been having a bad day, kind of get that frustration out. Instead of taking a deep breath, maybe, okay, let me
But she didn't learn that. That's the thing, is anything that, you know what I mean?
Well,
she didn't learn.
Not taking the time to internalize.
Lisa said, growing up in an expressive household made me more empathetic.
Yes, because you know what people are feeling versus, like you said, they're just lashing out, but at the same time, you still don't even know what's going on.
Understanding,
was it her work? Was it something I did? Yeah. Was it the dishes? Was it, you know what I mean? Like, you have no idea. So yeah, when you're in an expressive family and they're telling you, or even an expressive / communicative family, right? Where they're like, look, this is how it is. And that's a big deal too. It's like, you can easily say communication issues with your family. Because for me, it was just like, you don't have any problems because my problems are worse than your problems, so you don't have any problems. You know what I mean? But then growing up, that's the only way you solve problems, is communicating and letting people know like how you feel. And just learning not to take what people say personally, but understanding that
that's a big one.
You know what I mean? If you have some sort of conviction or you have some sort of feeling, then make sure, make sure it's something that I need to work on, not that other person.
Charge, and kind of that's another thing that made me want to grow, because at a younger age, I was more hostile. Like I was a hothead. Yeah. And through growing, like I really mellowed out over time. But I didn't like being that type of person. Like some minor, like something that somebody would say or whatever, she'll be like, what? Like, you just say, like, just start tripping, or, but a lot of the time it would be, I'll be tripping more.
I look like a catfish?
No, you said.
No, what? It says she's unreasonably fine. So yeah, she does kind of look like a catfish. He's saying
something has to be wrong. I don't know.
I'm talking about you. He's talking about
Lisa? Oh.
But for me,
he said it's called genetic, shawty. Jesus blessed you. Now he's complimenting her. You went from catfish.
Shoot your shot or what?
Yes. Look what he said before. Look what he said. He said,
those pickup lines ran into your family.
No, look, he said,
family until they ran into you and you
Vance is on a mission. Look, he said, Lisa, you got to snap for research purposes, I promise. She said, I don't use it. He said, and that's okay, baby. I'll give you a reason to use it.
Don't put my man's on blast. Let that man work. Let that man work. Let that man work.
And then Monta said,
can we be invited to your date though? Look, I'm just saying, because I want to, you know what I mean? Like, we should podcast from their date. Like they should have a date, and then we should be like in the background, like
Look,
commentating.
Montes said,
Is he gonna go for the?
Hey,
Montes
their
the
thing
damn
will be
16-year-old.
no. Their thing will be take her out Tuesday. We got mental health.
Oh yeah, let's do it. We can just stream from like an outdoor like.
Everything just opened up. So
As long as they have Wi-Fi, I can set this up.
Days.
That's what I'm saying. So they'll be over there, and
take
they'll
her
be
out
commenting like,
Tuesday.
"Oh, he said something."
Take her out Tuesday, he said. No.
We'll be the commentators on the date.
Anyway.
It's gonna be like he's on the 20-yard line. He's like, "Oh, fumble!"
He fumbled the ball.
Live commentary.
Yeah. Dang, bro. That's
All
funny.
right. Next
anyway,
topic.
Back, where we?
We covered that pretty
No,
well.
he was still.
Oh yeah.
I remember. To touch back, I was
younger,
saying, okay. So,
You were a hothead when you were younger, and then because we were talking about not taking
become
things
the opposite.
personally.
why I
yeah.
wanted to change my mindset is because I didn't like my reaction to certain things. Being closed-minded. I can't stand, like, one of the things I highly dislike is closed-minded people. Like, bro, like, how can I tell you something instantly? No. Like, you didn't even take the time to think about what I just said. But
I just said your name.
yeah, so I would never say I was the type to be super close-minded, but like just taking more time out my day to understand maybe this person is feeling this way for this reason, or understand, okay, I'm lashing out for this reason, or really just internalize things more. And like you were saying, like, this person might be tripping on this day because, I don't know, their cat died or something, whatever it is. And I'm not knowing that. And we bump into each other and they're tripping within reason, because I'm not going to just blatantly let myself keep getting disrespected.
Yeah.
But take the time out to just understand, like, okay, like, handle a certain situation, like whether somebody's dealing with death in their family, whatever it is, just understanding some people like to be approached in this way when they're feeling somewhere. Some people like to be approached like this. But taking the time out to understand people more. And understand myself and understand others, because by understanding what makes you tick or why you're acting this way, you might recognize it more in other people.
You know,
Definitely.
giving people the benefit of the doubt, understanding why they're acting a certain way towards you first before, you know, lashing out at them. And I think that's one thing. That's one thing, like, I had to start doing before I lash out at people. Like, I had to give people a reason first. I think before, like, I even, you know, go crazy, before I even think, like, okay, let me go in here, you know, walk through the door first instead of just charging through it, you know, head
Like,
first.
first of all, bro, you need to stop.
Exactly. Like, yeah, let me.
Shit.
Yeah. There's been a few times where I was like, wait, hold on. It's not the way to do it. You've done it like this before. It didn't work out that way. So let me approach it a different way. You know, if anything happens, someone sets you off, it's all about like what we talked about earlier a little bit, like not letting yourself like get out of character, not letting people bring you back to that point of you know, negativity.
To steer it back, that all ties into it ran in my family till it ran into me.
Yeah.
So that's how it all kind of ties in. Our main thing was kind of being violent, or kind of just being quick to be outspoken. And now, having seen that, having witnessed that, we kind of interpret things a different way and process things a different way as a result of that running in our family, in our families. The next one, it says,
Next one's a good one.
Release the need to be defined by how you were treated.
That one.
You want to say the name? Who said that?
I'm not reading that.
What's his name?
Harry Ogbogu.
Oh.
Yeah.
Harry
Harry, dude.
I found that because it was interesting, because last week I was watching back. Yeah, I was watching back episode 6.
You were replaying.
Yeah, I was watching back. Yeah, to timestamp it. And just to see where all the topics were. And I came across, like, in the recommended feed, now all of a sudden, ever since like episode 5 or something, when I look in the recommended of like the Mental Health Mondays now.
And stuff. That's pretty cool.
Wait, what?
You said in the recommended, it's grabbing off of our topics. Or related
So
stuff.
now I'm seeing like now the first like 4 I didn't see, obviously.
Well, because they probably couldn't recognize a pattern or something.
Yeah,
now,
it's the algorithm. That's how it works. Yeah, the algorithm and all that. But now I'm starting to see like other like either
Anyways, what did Harry
podcasts.
say?
and I clicked on this guy's, and like I just skimmed through it a little bit, and I heard him say this quote, and I was like,
I'm hot that he said that. I'm gonna say why later, but I'm hot.
I thought you grew from that.
I'm gonna say why. Go ahead,
but he
say why.
so
now you're making me blush.
look at Lisa.
Let's go, Lisa. Actually, no, maybe I'll go on a date with Lisa first.
Shut up. Take me out Tuesday. Take her out Tuesday.
her out Tuesday.
No, I can't go out with anybody except for
You're right.
Lisa.
Yeah.
But Spams gets to her first.
Yeah. So when he said that quote, I started thinking, I like immediately wrote it down because I was like, I immediately wrote it down on the top of the list because that quote is so powerful to me because it's basically defines. Come on, y'all. I know I got game.
Obviously not if you're still in the chat and not in her snap.
She don't have a snap.
Let's go.
She said, "Nina!" Exclamation mark.
Right? Dang, I'm good.
She's trying to put you on. Anyway, so many people go through this. We can set it up on the Discord. If y'all both hop in the Discord, I can set that up.
If we get enough votes.
Yeah, we can. Let's do. I can set that up. I can set this up.
Slide through.
Oh, that's
Let me, bro. Hold on. I could. We can set. I can set
What
this
did
up.
you think I had almost dropped it on?
yeah, she was gonna come by. So
Oh, yeah, that was-
talk to think that.
No.
She should have.
But yeah, I we can set this up. Listen, I can get the link. I can put the Discord link. Y'all can join the. We'll be moderators. We'll all be moderators listening in. We'll be like, bro, you shouldn't have said that, bro. Like listening in to what
you're
y'all.
Vamps in there, will you still drop by?
Bro, hold on. Let's go ahead and just
In the
case.
meantime,
In the meantime,
though, I want
yeah.
you to elaborate on release that needs to be defined.
So to me, it's sort of like a thing. It's about. It all ties into like self-worth, self-respect, all that sorts of things. It's like when we've known a certain thing for so long, when you've only known getting treated a certain way, when you've only known abuse, when you've only known getting, just all these things in your life, you can put it towards anything negative that happens in your life. When that's all you've known about a certain thing, when something comes along that's finally what you need, finally what you deserve, God's coming out and putting something in front of you, giving you what you deserve. We sort of, in a way, it's a way of rejecting it because we're being defined by how we've been treated before.
Thank you.
It's a paleo bar. Relax.
I'm gonna have to raid your pantry and steal all your help.
Yeah.
She went shopping the other day and made me realize I did a bad job.
Yeah.
I'm pressed right now.
Well, she leaves her door unlocked, so hey, we'll be in here. You'll just see us on the camera. We'll leave like just crumbs.
He's lying. Anyways, go ahead. You weren't supposed to eat it yet because you were supposed to be talking while we
eat it.
Oh,
exactly eat it.
Anywho, so
Yeah, you take your break after us.
Now I'm gonna tell you where I'm pressed.
So that's my sort of thing. And in my specific life, in my circumstance, it was with that quote relates to me in terms of in a relationship sort of sense, like it does for a lot of people, because through every like relationship that I had been in, there had always been a certain pattern, just a certain, it almost became like routine, like at a certain point when things were like gonna end. And when you finally find something that's different,
These smack.
tastes like a vegetable to me, low-key.
They're good.
Low-key. When you find something different, finally that thing that comes along, that one person, that one relationship that comes along, that just changes your whole perspective on things, it's hard to like break out of that mindset and accept what's being put in front of you, because you're just so used to this other thing. This other thing was just always the way things were supposed to go, or so you thought. It was the way that you almost been taught a certain way when, it's obviously wrong, but you think it's right because that's all you've been given. That's all you've been.
What makes it wrong?
These generalizations aren't helping me. It's girl brain versus guy brain right now. I'm lost. Maybe Lisa can chime in. And
How are you
tell me.
lost? I don't get how you're lost. I just said relationship wise. I don't.
Okay.
Well,
What's there to be lost about? I'm saying if you had a bunch of crappy relationships in the past, that's
And then
all
you have a
know.
good one.
That's all you
Yeah,
know. All you
that
know
good
is
one-
crappy relationships. All you know
Defined
is
on your history?
all you know. Yeah, release the need to be defined by how you were treated. So if you
were treated. Got it.
Yes, were. So I'm saying, if all you've known in
Got
a
it.
relationship is abuse, all you've known is this, all you know is that, when you
gonna take a
finally
deeper
get
than that,
something that
You
comes
have to
along,
recondition yourself
recondition yourself to
because you've
accept,
been conditioned into
to believe that this is what you deserve, this is all you get,
Right.
this is all, that's all you're worth.
because
And
there's sometimes where that is your worth, that is your value, but you don't realize that until it's gone. And then you realize, well, we were at the same stage, and you know what I mean? I wouldn't have grown anyways because I was stuck by that person. You know what I mean? So it's almost like, I would say like, okay, I'm dating or whatever. And in the beginning when I was dating, I was around these people that I thought were cool, but at the same time when they left and they weren't available, I realized like, dang, I could have done hecka better. But me, myself, I was growing in that too, because I didn't know what I wanted, because I only knew what I was or whatever it is, you know what I mean? And that's what I defined my worth as, because I was still healing. I was still reconditioning myself from my past and the abuse or the neglect or the, you know what I mean? All those negative things that I didn't want. Exactly. But I didn't realize I deserved better, because that, you know what I mean? Like you don't realize it when
you
you're
don't just
there.
start off knowing that you know what you need. You
Exactly.
yeah, exactly.
And
it takes,
if you fall in love, then it's even worse, because then you're like, but I love this person, so I'm going to accept them for who they are. And it's like, no, you're settling because you
Without
are so much better than, you know what I mean, this person. And you're only going to continue to get better. And that's what you need to realize is you started with this person and now you've got this person. Imagine what else you know what I mean? Like you're slowly getting
What else?
better.
You're
Just
getting there.
keep it going, because as you grow, whatever's around you is growing. The same thing like those other, you know, friend relationships. The same thing as every other relationship. As you're growing, everybody around you grows. And if they don't, then they go.
hopefully,
grow
you hope.
together or
If,
apart.
no, if they don't, then they
Yeah,
go.
exactly. Yeah,
Because
you
you're
hope.
knowledgeable enough to know.
Whether they grow
by
apart together or apart.
exactly.
Together or apart, exactly. That ties up to what we were talking about earlier about you. Some people being at a certain point, yeah.
So, my take on that, why I'm impressed by that, because so when you talked about it, it was in a sense of relationships.
Yeah, it could be in any kind of. You could put that towards.
I'm gonna talk about this just in general, whether it is growing up, release the need to put it. Okay, so whether you're growing up, right, all you could afford is one pair of shoes. Your whole school year, people are like, "Why you wearing the same shoes? Why you going to the same clothes?"
I remember that
Right?
sophomore year. Yeah.
Why do you got this? Why do you like that? All this stuff. People are just saying all these negative things, right? And this is why I say, by the time for me personally, being in a situation where I didn't have money, that motivated me to get up and get a job and start buying clothes, right? Once I started buying clothes, because this is when I was younger, once I started buying like better clothes, certain better shoes, certain stuff like that, right? People then will be like, oh, I used to remember when you used to only rock this every day or whatever it is. It's like, bruh, I'm clearly dripped out right now. And you're trying to bring me back to a time where I was in a worse situation, right? For me, and this is a mindset I kind of had to grow out of, but feeling like I've been done feeling like I've been done wrong by a lot of people, and then you start getting the need to want to prove people wrong. And that's why I was hot. Because
If you're smart enough.
Well, this is why I got hot, because at a point in time, I was just getting all these nice clothes, all this stuff, just to not be that person anymore, just to not be brought back to that. But like I said, people will still bring me back to that years later. Like, oh yeah, like okay, like you fit it right now. Like what you got on is cool. I used to remember when you would come here and this, and it's like, bro, like that was 3 years ago. Like you're weird. Like, what you talking about before? And just that, and having certain friends do weird stuff, or having certain relationships go whatever way, just in a general sense, feeling like I've been done wrong by a lot of people, at a certain point in time made me feel like I have things to prove to other people. But now, this is what I was going to say earlier, but now kind of, as I've gotten a bit older, focusing on my own path. By focusing on you and your own path and just going in that direction, you're gonna attract people. You're gonna attract certain energy towards you. You're gonna attract, if you're focused on this, whatever, you're gonna run into like-minded people who might be into the same thing as you. You might have known people from 20 years ago, 15 years ago, 10 years ago, and they might not be on the same wavelength because you were trying so hard to fit into this crowd or do whatever, right? And so that's why it just had me hot, because I thought back to the times where even, you know, still to this day, I'll have certain thoughts, like, it'll just make me kind of upset, like, really, like, I was really doing this. So, and like I talked about this in a different episode, I'd always wanted a designer belt since I was younger, right? And didn't have the money to do it. So finally I got the money, I bought the belt, and I was at my girl's house, and I was looking at it in the mirror, and I was just like, bro, like, this doesn't make me happy. I had wanted this for so long. I felt like one of my older brothers, and there's a lot of people talking about, but a lot of people hype up all these things, right? If I had older siblings or older people like flexing and again, not showing me how to get this. They're just putting it in front of my face, and I finally get it. And honestly made me a little bit sad. I'm like, bro, like, this doesn't make me as happy like as I thought it would. Like, this doesn't hit the way.
But the thing was, that wasn't really your goal. Your goal was to, like, you set a goal and you strived for it and you accomplished it. However, it was built on it was built on money or a brand or whatever it was, and that wasn't you. But that's what I'm saying. But that wasn't you. You that's what you thought you wanted because your friends were telling you, you know what I mean, like, oh, you're flexing, whatever, and you wanted to be better than that. But that wasn't you, because at the end of the day, you didn't care about that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I got this, but if my shirt is down over, you can't even see that I have it on.
But that was going back to our last podcast when it says, enjoy the journey, or what was it?
You reach the goal, but skip the journey.
Exactly. Like, you reached your goal, but you didn't skip the journey because you didn't realize what you were doing in between, because you were being successful, you know what I mean, to save up money, to do all these things. And that's probably where your joy or whatever was, because you were striving to be something better. You weren't looking for the brand, right? You were looking at the investment that you made to be better, right? Because, of course, a brand is better than Target, right? Michael Kors is better than whatever.
So
but at the end of the day, that doesn't define you, because that's not who you are.
Nah. And because I always talk about it like I'm like 42 or something. But when I refer to me being younger, because this was all over, you know, a short period of time, I feel like I've done like a lot of growth in a short period of time, because I just turned 20 a couple days ago.
Oh, nice. I'm 27.
But like, that was all over the course of like from 14 to like 18. And then after that, like, being out of high school, like, bro, like, honestly, it feels like I've been out of high school for like 5 years already. It feels like I really, after not seeing all these people on a daily basis, and I just noticed, like, bro, like, I'm really not interested in what a lot of these people are doing. I'm really not. A lot of these people have a lot of petty issues with one another. And like, for me, I was probably like the most social but antisocial person you meet. Like, like, me and my girl's first date, we were somewhere on the east side. Somebody I knew came up to me, shook my hand. She was just like, you know, and then we'd go to the mall or whatever. I run into people I know, but would still have like a small social circle in the end of the day, regardless of how many people I was interacting with. But I was having a warped perception of reality, just because it's high school, like, that happens. You're still trying to, you think you're older than you really are. Looking back, kind of, when I was 14, I thought I was like way older. When I was 15, thought I was way older. When I was 16, thought I was a grown man already, right? And then kind of looking back on it, just kind of like laugh. Like, I really thought I was in a different place of life than I really was. And looking back on it, like, feeling like I was so naive. And really just shifted my focus, and we talked about this too, really just shifted my focus and putting my energy into bigger things. Like, things change now. Like, having more necessities, like, I have to pay for this, or I can't just buy this belt now. Like, did I pay my car payment this month? Did I pay my insurance? Did I pay this? Instead of just going out and buying this belt because everybody else has a belt. So kind of having to break away from that. People have said this or said that, and just doing what I'm supposed to do. So that's why, like I said, I was hot about it, because, you know, I feel like I've dealt with that for a cool minute. And I had to break away from that mind state, and I didn't even see that on the list earlier, I think, until right now.
What do you think? How does that quote handle to say to you? How does that quote fit in your life?
What quote?
The one we've just been talking about.
What?
Don't be
Say it
defined by
again.
the way you've been treated, or don't be
So,
feel the job that need to be
I
found.
kind of touched a little bit on it. I mean, it's easier said than done for sure. Because me, even recently, in this, hold on, let's read what Lisa says. She says, that's true. I do feel like I end up dating the same types of guys related to what I feel deserve or am worthy of. Exactly. And that's why for me, I'm not dating right now because I need to work on myself. Because once I establish my worth in myself, and once I understand what I want and not settle for less, then I'll be able to attract those people, because I'll realize, oh no, this person's not respectful. Oh no, this person, you know what I mean? And it might even be little things where it's like, a dude's gonna open the door for me. Sorry, I don't care. And if you're not opening the door for me, then thank you, next. You know what I mean? And it might seem petty or stupid, but at the same time, guys think, oh, or it's feminist or whatever, but that's where you get to know the girl, and that's where, you know what I mean, whatever. But at the end of the day, open the door. If she don't like it, she'll let you know.
I've been with my girl for 2 years. I've opened the door for her every day.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Exactly. Exactly.
I never stopped. I've had older men be like, I'm glad my wife didn't see you do that because I'd be in trouble.
Yeah. That's just respect.
Yes.
That's just respect to me.
Have respect.
You know what I mean? Because you care for that person and you're putting them before you, literally, every single time. You're making sure that it's safe for them to get in the door, and you're opening the door for them, making sure, hey, go ahead. You know what I mean? I'm not going to be selfish and worry about myself getting in here. I'm going to make sure you're in here, you're safe, you're cool, and then I'm going to...
People looking at that like that's weird. That's not even weird. Like, that's just out of respect.
Yeah,
but I mean, it is. But that's it, right? Okay, but at the end of the day, it's like, no, I'm still settling, because it doesn't matter if it's better than what I had. Is it what I deserve? Is it what I wrote on this piece of paper of things that I want in a guy? Is he checking off all the boxes? Is he checking off most of the boxes? Or, you know what I mean? Like, I don't want to judge him, but I am going to set expectations of what I believe a man is going to have when I'm intentionally dating him. That's not to say that, you know, I expect him to text me every day or whatever it is, but I do expect him to put effort into our relationship, whether it's a friendship relationship in the beginning or whatever it is. I expect him not to tell me, oh, sorry, I was busy. Well, then obviously I'm not a priority then, right? Because you're never too busy for things that you care about. You're never too busy for yourself. You wake up, you brush your teeth, you do all this stuff. You were too busy to brush your teeth. Yeah. Exactly. That's what I'm saying. So that busy is a cop-out. So yes, I am going to have an expectation on my list of puts in the effort. I don't ever want to hear you busy. Oh, sorry this, sorry that. No, stuff your sorries in a sack, and you know what I mean? Hand it to whoever you want. Yeah. The same. But I'm not going to have an expectation of you calling me when you're at work.
You gotta make me apologize.
I would love for you to do that, but hey.
For no reason, just cause.
But hey, this is growth, right? Tomorrow or tonight or whatever, I better not say I'm busy, because Mina's going to call me out on it. Or
it's kind of like, both of us, I'll never ask anything of her. I expect you, if I'm saying you, like for me, if there's anything you want me to work on, we'll ask each other how you feeling.
Yes, and that's a big one too, because you can't take that personally, and you have to understand that that person wants to be with you intentionally, and they want to grow with you, and they're giving you that security that, hey, I'm gonna be here and I'm gonna stick it out, and this is gonna be tough, but we're gonna ride it out together. Facts. Not just, hey, what do I have to work on because I don't want you to break up with me? No, that's not it. What do I have to work on because I want to build something with you? Because I want to invest in myself and make sure that this is something that I really want to do. I'm not going to waste my time, you know what I mean? Just integrating with you and basically numbing myself or dumbing myself down, or just coming along with you with the ride, being your shadow. No, I still need to be an individual. I still need to be myself, but I do want your input on something that maybe you're saying that I'm not.
Is there anything that that you wish I could do more of, or whatever it is? Because it's like, just be vocal. There's no way we could fix a situation that I don't even know that there's an issue with. A lot of the time, like, I'm good at knowing, okay, maybe she's feeling some type of way, or like, you know, she's off today, something's bothering her, so I ask her. And of course, I don't get the answer right away, but I still keep asking.
Well, yeah, because I mean,
It's
people
not
are
easy,
different.
yeah, but we never have to have the same conversation twice, and that's where for me actually like it's very important because if I ask her like what do you want me to improve on, she's like, well, maybe I feel like if you could just show me off a little bit more or whatever. Like people, for me, I'm a really private person. People don't even know how long we've been together, but like it would just be nice. She'd be like, it would just be nice if you could show me off a little bit more, like like that.
That's a female thing because as females we're insecure that we're not good enough, and that's not on purpose or anything. And as much as we build ourselves up, like that's honestly, I mean, I don't, maybe 70%, maybe even more than that. We're always gonna, because we feel as females that we always have to put in work, have to do something. You know what I mean? We always have to put on makeup. We always have to make sure we look good for him, because if not, then he's gonna go somewhere else. And that's not the reality. That's just what's in front of our face. Whether it's society, whether it's culture, whether it's people we're around, that's what we see. That's not what we want the reality to be, but that's what's presented to us that we have to grasp. You know what I mean? And we have to fight against and understand that, okay, that is an insecurity, but at the same time, well, that's easy to show her love. That's easy to hold her hand so that that's my girlfriend. That's easy for me to introduce her in the room. Hey, this is my girlfriend. You know what I mean? Hey, everybody, all this other stuff. That's easy to do, but at the same time, it's very hard for us as females to be like, hey,
and it starts to add
because usually the guy's answer is, oh my gosh, you're so needy.
And that's what I was gonna say. I don't know. I make her know. I let her know that it is okay to feel that type of way. Like I let her know
because you're a secure person.
I'm not judging her.
It's okay to want something.
If you feel something, I tell her if you feel some type of way. Because one of the things she does not like me, based off of past experience, like not with me, but just off of like growing up, like she doesn't want me to raise my voice. So no matter how upset I can get, she can roll her neck, do all this other stuff, and I just gotta stay calm with her. So I'm like, okay, so if I ask you this. So why didn't you tell me this sooner? Well, whatever, like, okay, so did you think that I was going to react a certain type of way? Like, have I ever yelled at you before? No. Okay, then. You should know it's okay to talk to me. Like, that's one of the things that I don't have an issue touching bases on multiple times, because it's not always easy.
It's a reconditioning. It's a reconditioning.
So, like, okay, I'm letting you know now. Next time, if this is something, just tell me. I'm not gonna snap. I'm not gonna be like, that's stupid that you feel this way. No. Like if you feel some type of way about something, let me know. If it's within, like, I'm never gonna make it seem like it's not within my power to achieve. And like I said, I'm gonna make sure that's not a conversation we have a second time. There's no reason after us talking